Good morning everyone, my name is Eamon Wall and I look after the plants of the Arboretum with a team of good horticulturists as well. It takes a team to run the whole place. What I'm going to do today is talk about hanging baskets, and good hanging basket and a bad hanging basket. And I always say, if you're going to have a bad hanging basket, don't bother. And if you're a low maintenance or no maintenance gardener, forget hanging baskets. They do take maintenance to succeed with them. So I'm going to start off now and show you. The aim of the talk is to hang a basket. We'll show you how, where, when and why. I always believe you've got to know, if you know about everything, how it's made and what it's done, then you'll know how to look after it. Now, you get people say, what colour is the hanging basket? What is the basket made of? If you can answer those questions, you have a bad hanging basket. Because I believe if you have a good hanging basket, it doesn't matter whether it's pink, white, green, whatever, whether it's made of rattan or weave. We get many frustrated customers come in and say, I want a green hanging basket, or I want a white one to match the other ones I have. Well, I know then they're not able to make hanging baskets, or they have a bad one. Because if you have a good hanging basket, you won't know what it is. This was taken at Bloom there a couple of years back, as you can see, has everything and anything in it. Where is the basket? You cannot see the basket. The only thing you can see is the chain, and that's all you should see, and that's a good hanging basket. Now, move on again. Now, the average hanging basket. Basket sparsely planted, basket more visible than the plants, and one-dimensional lacking height. That's very fine, okay, in the, say, early in the season, but there's no scope for that to grow because you've got just pansies in that, so there's nothing that can come down. There's nothing that can trail. If it was winter, what's to stop you putting, say, a heuchera, putting ivy into it, putting heathers, something that's going to trail down. Even the heucherellas would trail down, so there's so much that you can put into it. So that's an example of where you don't want to look like. That's fine if you buy it early in the season and it has potential to grow, but not when you, I always believe, hang the basket up when it's at its full potential. You know, don't hang the basket up, because it never matures or grows when it's hanging outside your door. And if you're not able to water it and check it every day, forget about it. Go to the tubs and containers. And if you're in a windy, exposed site, don't bother with the hanging basket. I always say, work with Mother Nature. If you haven't got the right conditions, I don't grow a hanging basket myself at home now because I work all day and I have a large garden, vegetables, glass house, and I just don't have the time to check the hanging baskets. Because really, there's times that you have to even check at lunchtime. You know, if you're in and I've got fairly windy, exposed site as well. You know, times, so it can be a problem. Now, so wrong. I've judged hanging baskets, and I go to houses, estates, and you see, and they know you're coming around, and you see a dead hanging basket outside the door, or you see this. This is not what you want, you know. So I expect you to do more than that. So this is how not to have a hanging basket. Now, the key ingredients: correct size. So a small basket is like big is beautiful, I say. The bigger the basket, the easier it is to maintain. It's like with a pond. The smaller it is, the harder it is to look after. It's the very same with a hanging basket. The minimum size I recommend is a 16-inch hanging basket. If you can go bigger, better still. Compost. Compost has to be good retentive moisture. Water retention granules, I'll show you those, and the quality of the trailing plants. As they all say, if you're going to bake a cake, you need to have the right ingredients. It's how you put it together then after that, but you can't blame the cook if the ingredients was bad in the beginning. So get the right ingredients. Now, remember, big is beautiful. Minimum size 16 inches. They're as easy to look after because they don't dry out, and fast and smaller than hanging baskets, all right? So I think many people tend to get the 12-inch, 14-inch, but go with the bigger hanging basket. Now, baskets come in all shapes and sizes. As you can see, we have, this is a wrought iron. Probably the best one is it's plastic coated as well, so it will last. Okay, it's practically a lifetime job. The one I have here then is the traditional basket. It's a wire plastic coated basket. You'll get about 5 to 6 years out of them, and eventually they will go. And as times has moved on, we have what you call baskets with preformed liners. You can see like this. Just move this on. That one there, and then you have what do you call it? You have a kind of a rattan weave here then as well. So I think these were, we sell a lot of these, but if you're going to do a good hanging basket, I would go for this one. These are made for the people that just want to put the plants in and hang them up, and away they go. And I don't think they give you the potential to make a good hanging basket. That's my view, but we have to cater for everybody. All right, so the traditional basket is moss. The biggest problem is that if you live in say, people here from Dublin, live in the towns, you can't get moss. And you can't take moss from people's gardens or from the woodland because of preservation. This before you say anything, came out of my own garden. I have a woodland garden, so I'm able to get moss and I can take it out and it rejuvenates as well, so it's handy. So I don't expect you to start going to the country, so it's banned in many places, you can't go and take. So the substitute then is this here, this kind of jute liner. And again, it has even the pre-cut holes in it, so you can actually put it into the, we'll say there now. So you can see that it's put into it and it's pre-formed. And then this is only a small basket. This is ideal for, say, a 16-inch hanging basket. Now, so that's the flexible Hessian. Your baskets are pre-lined with plastic and pre-formed liners. So I still go back to this one here, all right? Now, the compost contains a high nutrient content. Okay, there was controlled produced water retention. So they've added a special nutrient to the compost so it retains the moisture. And ensure the compost is moist before you begin. You can see here now, it's moist compost, all right? Now, the next thing then, now the key benefits of water retention granules. Basically like grains of sugar. And what they do, they can hold up to 1 litre of extra water in the hanging basket. So you mix those, usually three scoops, I should say, 3 scoops into your compost. And that'll hold an extra litre of water, and that's vital. It's not a substitute for watering. So don't think it is. It's water retention, so it helps you retain the moisture in the hanging basket. And if you wet this now, each lump will swell up to about that size. And then it'll actually, what will happen then, the roots will actually grow into it and they'll retain the moisture. And I haven't done it here, but the ideal thing of the moss is moist, but make sure and actually soak it well. And then so it retains, it actually holds the moisture then as well. I'll talk to you about the plants now. Plants, there's so many different, the most popular is the trailing petunia or Siphinia. We have them out in the atrium and people come in and they say they want Siphinia or they want petunia. They're actually, basically what it is, they're interchangeable. Siphinia is a trailing petunia. And again, many people say, it doesn't say Siphinia in the pot, it's not a trailing petunia. And they are all petunias and it causes so much confusion. Geraniums, begonias, bacopa, labia, they're the traditional plants, but there's a lot more that you can use out there. And I'm going to show you a few different designs then later on. Now, as you can see there, trading geraniums, fuchsias, lamian, Million Bells, Calabraca trading. This was taken at what they call it, bloom again. So you can see there's nothing to be seen there. All right, all you can see is just the plants. Now, I'll start off making the hanging basket. All right. Now, so use the compost. Fill it in. What happens tends when you use what you call it the pre-line is that you can't actually fill the basket. Let me show you. Now this takes a little bit more time, and the swell gel is added to this already. Now firm it well in. Have any of you made hanging baskets before? What way do you normally start? What do you put into it first? Yeah, I was going to say, some people make the mistake, they actually put the one in the centre first. And then they actually work. With a good hanging basket, you start from the bottom and work your way up. You can plant in colour things. I do hanging baskets, and sometimes less is more. It depends on what you like. Some people like a kaleidoscope of colour, or you can have just a colour theme of, say, 2 colours, and it can actually look more classy then. Now, what I start off with is lobelia here. And what I go for, you find a little spot, make a little hole, and push it in. I have the crystals added to it, yeah.
You just put them in, you don't put them in.
I actually put them into it, and then when you water, the whole thing will swell up then. And what will happen then as well, when it gets the water, it'll actually the roots will grow into it then. Now you can see there now. I don't measure it out at plan, I just use whatever it takes and keep. So you can't do this when you have the pre-formed ones. You probably think, oh, I'm being rough here now, but it's literally just a matter of popping them in. If you have the pre-formed, then the job of trying to cut it, it's tedious. You find now that what can happen now is that you can buy hanging baskets cheaper than you can make them. And it seems to be, It seems to be a big problem now because people say, oh, I can buy the basket. We sell hanging baskets for $14.99. But the quality is, the old saying, you get what you pay for. And they're mass produced. And so, yeah. This is lobelia, and it's actually a trailing lobelia, and it's a mixed. It's a mix. You can get them in, say, plain blue sapphire. You get them in rose. You get them in white. The mix is kind of universal. It goes with everything. White can look very classy if you're just doing 2 colours in the hanging basket.
When is a good time of the year to take them?
That's a big question because the weather we've been having now, normally people would make them up in May. And they'd keep them in a glass house or a tunnel then. You see, if you have a tunnel will actually keep more heat than a glass house, so it's easier to look after, but then it releases the heat fast. Slowly at night, the tunnel, but the glass house heats up better and actually grow in better conditions. But many people got caught out this year because like the weather's been so up and down, unless you can have frost protection. So we'll slip another one in there.
David, just a question there.
Yeah.
You know when you're getting your soil together, okay?
Yeah.
And the actual gel itself.
Yeah.
You just mix it all up.
Mix it all up, yeah.
You don't dampen it at all. At that stage.
At that stage, you make sure you have the compost wet first, so that you have pre-water that if it's not wet, then mix your gel into it then. And you notice how I didn't put any, some people say line it with plastic. Some people put a tray in the bottom, but there can be problems with that, you see. It depends on what way you look after your hanging basket. If you can't take your hanging basket down and you water from the top, I would line it with plastic and put holes higher up in it so it retains the moisture. If you're able to take the hanging basket down, then you can come along and you can plunge the whole basket into water. And if you have the plastic in the way, then it can't do that. So I tend to actually put no plastic into it. And then if the hanging basket needs watering, I just lift it down, plunge it in the water, and the whole thing is soaking then, and it gives a real good watering. Because you ever tried to water a hanging basket and the water's just running off the top? So that's the problem. There is actually gadgets like this now where you can actually put onto the hose, and that makes it handy. Or if you see public houses where they have drip irrigation, and they have it hidden very round, and you can see it all going down in drips. It's just small little pipes.
But is there not a little thing you can do to the soil when you're doing them to retain? Will that
Yeah, you could, for instance, you could put a saucer in the bottom, or you could put plastic.
I thought there was things you could buy little and stick them into it.
No, the swell gel is kind of the little granules that swell up, and then they'll retain the moisture. And what they do then, the roots will grow in through the swell gel, and that retains the moisture then. So that should be, yeah. Now you see, if you just hang that outside, the wind is going to rock it. That's not what we say, it's not grown or settled in. So that has to go into a glass house or a tunnel so they can actually all grow in. Now, what we're going to put into it next then, I usually start off then with a centerpiece then, and then you work around that. So fuchsia. This is good. I'll go for this one here, it's a nice one. Fuchsias are great because they'll keep flowering and flowering. Now you probably think, gosh, I haven't got much room left there, but I'll get more plants than that yet. And that's the whole thing. You buy plants like that now in baskets and they're not full. I've got to get a lot more plants into that to fill it up. Now, I brought down different types of petunias. There's all different colours, but the most prolific one is this one here, the pink. And if you all pre-water before you're getting them, and if you want to take them out, I tend to just give it a squeeze and twirl it, and it'll come out then. Now we'll get more into that. I always use the classic 3. When you're doing a circle, go for the 3, and it doesn't have to be 3 the same. It depends what you like now. We get a little bit more compost in there again. See, if the compost is dry, what'll happen is it'll start flying out everywhere, and so it's key that it's moist. And what's this, even when you do the moss baskets, actually, you can see there now, it looks as if it's full, but there's loads of room. When you squeeze it back, that makes room now to get more compost, and you get your lobelia in then. So we have 3 there. So what we do then now, we can start with this. We'll stick another a yellow in there. Santa Vitaliana now is a nice little one.
What is that?
San Vitaliana is what it is. It's a little yellow, see the little yellow flower on it? San Vitaliana. So it's a beautiful little. Now we have another. It'll trail down again. Yes, a lovely little one. It really great if you want to do a warm basket with it, say pinks and reds. It really goes well with it. Now you can see it's starting to look full there now. Now we'll put some more lobelia in then. What we'll throw, we have a white. We'll give I find most people prefer a really basher colour, which everything. So again now we start, and it's literally, you should see no compost when you're finished. So you can see there, just anywhere I see a space. So I've used 2 trays, nearly 2 trays of lobelia. Now, so why you say to yourself, the trays are 350, so that's 7, and we have hanging basket plants. They're what are they? 250, so you can see 750. So as you can see, there's a tenner gone just in those plants alone. You haven't done your compost then, but it's the old saying: you get what you pay for. You know. Now, I've only done this to show you here from you can see hanging around. And if I was to have more time, I would actually put the lobelia even lower down again. And you could layer it around again so that the whole thing will become, there will be enough to close that in. And remember, when you are hanging it up, that you put the chains on and you hang it up. Don't grow it like this. People make a mistake, and then when they go to hang it up, then they can't, everything's grown up then, and they can't pull the chains up. Water it well, so what I would do with that now is actually plunge it into a barrel and let it soak up, and then we'll give it, say, half an hour to drain.
You don't have to put the plastic in. Do you make holes in the plastic, or you leave it just...
I would make holes in it, but make holes, say, halfway up.
First up, that's
Yeah,
the bottom.
not at the bottom. In the bottom, it's a waste of time because now it can't soak any water up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
First up. Oh, yeah.
Halfway's up, and that'll retain the moisture then. So there's so many plants, I couldn't cover them all there now. Million bells, which is basically a form of petunia. It's small little flowers. So to show you can see it there. I'll show you the different types there now. So we have a trailing fuchsia in the centre. That'll fill up and it'll trail down. We have trailing geraniums. What else we got? Petunia, calabraccia, lamian, which is this one here. A lovely trailing one. Some people know it as a red deadnet. That's it. You can actually see it just here. So it's a lovely plant. Very, very classy if you want to do, just say, blue, white and silver. If you want to say a cool hanging basket, you know. So depending, and the calabraccia comes in all different colours again. So very same as the petunia. We'll go next one there. The verbena, one plant, the verbena will not take drought. If it dries out, that's it, it's gone. And the same with lobelia. So if you put the hanging basket up and you forget about it for one day, it takes no prisoners. The basket is gone. So I say to you, when you have a hanging basket, it's like having a dog. Just reminds me there, or having a baby. You've got to look after it 24/7. But by having the swell gel, it gives you that little bit of safety net. All right. That's a different hanging basket again. Santa Vita petunia. You can see they're all just a complete mix. There's the verbena again in this one. The verbena comes in red, white, purples, complete different shades. Now, not only thing that can go in a hanging basket, tomatoes. Little tumbling toms, ideal again. So great. If you have a large glass house or a tunnel, it's making use of your higher area because you have everything growing down, so you can make use of the space. And they're naturally tumbling. You don't have to pinch them out, so they're an easy one. And then, of course, are strawberries. So strawberries are great. And strawberries naturally trail, so they're perfect again. Now, this is the aftercare. This is the most important thing. Check every day for water. That's key. And if the hanging basket is dry, do not apply feed and water at the same time. Because what will happen then, you'll actually scorch the whole plant. You'll take the feed in and it'll burn it. And when you do water a hanging basket, you always water it first thing in the morning, before the sunlight comes up. If you water it during the noon or something like that, and you put water on it, you're just basically magnifying the water and the whole plant will be scorched. So if you do need to feed, you'll make sure that you water the plant first and then feed after that. So deadhead regularly. And deadhead is basically if there's any flowers gone, there's not actually a dead one on any of these here, but we'll imagine just take the complete head off. Don't just pull the tops off it, because what will happen, say petunia is a good example. Some people do that, and they think they've deadheaded the petunia. that's not dead-headed. What happens now, you've left the seed behind. And so what will happen, it'll put its energy into making seed. And what we say, vegetative and flowering growth, if a plant's putting its energy into seeds, it won't make any more flowers. So we remove that, so now we've taken the complete head off. So now it'll put its energy, if you're leaving the flowers, the fading flowers, it's putting its energy making seed, but you want it to make more flowers. So it's very important to deadhead. And check it every day if you can, it's the ideal thing. Now, feed with a high potash feed. Keep it simple, tomato feed. You can't go wrong. There's many other different types. Some people swear by Miracle-Gro. We do them all because some people have preferences and they've always used it. So if you like and it's working for you, go for it. But if not, tomato feed, you can't go wrong. So high potash, like tomatoes, anything that produces flower, you want high potash feed. I would say every 10 to 14 days use this. This mix here, this GrowWise compost, has nutrients for 5 to 6 weeks. After that, then you start feeding. All right? And take down in high winds. Like if you know, watch the news, if you know it's going to be windy, don't leave your hanger basket, because when you come home then it's in bits and it's all that work is gone. So just a little care and you can make a good hanging basket. This is what the wow factor. This is what you want people to come to your house and say, isn't that a great hanging basket? It's beautiful. Now that's why I say to you, the liners and these with this woven, you can't do that. But you can make a hanging basket or a manger in any shape you want. Who says it has to be round? As you see, there's an example now. And when it's made well, you won't know what is behind it. All you want to see is the plants do the talking. And you can see the lovely containers there again, completely full. So if I'm judging a hanging basket, Rachel will tell you, we don't want to see a hanging basket. We don't want to know what it's made of, and then you know you have a winner. And so that's the start of it, and putting the right plants in, giving it time to settle, and let everything grow into it, and you end up with a good hanging basket.